Now let's go ahead and talk about the legendary this keyword in ES6. And perhaps if you might have been coding quite a lot in ES5, you might have already seen that this keyword was broken previously. And you might have to work around with the bind functions and other workarounds for this quirky behavior of the this function. But gladly, the moment the JavaScript which moved into the server side, everything is now getting fixed, and this keyword also got fixed here. Now, I would like to give you a quick resource that you can read after this lecture. It's drinkingcaffeine.com/arrow function and this in ES6. So this is really a great resource, and it's just a blog by Drinking Caffeine. And I like this blog because it's so much precise, concise. As you can see, this is not too much lengthy to be read about. And to be honest, you don't need to read that much. And it shows you that how the bind and that workaround that we used to do in the ES5 is now actually gone there. So I'll just walk you through quickly that how the things are now and how the things used to be, and then you can simply just look at here. So in order to do so, let's first of all write a simple function about this. So let's just call this function as simply, let's just call this a function, and I would like to call this as crazy because this function used to behave like a crazy one. And let's just have, and we are going to have a simple console .log, and we're going to just have this. And you might have already seen that. That's pretty easy behavior that everybody knows about it. And now let's just call this crazy function. Okay. So as I run this function, we know already are aware that what it's going to give us. It's going to give us the window object. So object window. Everybody knows that. There is no such mystery going on here. But the problem appears when somebody else is going to call this function. Like for example, if any button calls it, then it becomes to this. Don't refer to window object anymore. It refers to the button object, or whoever calls this function, it becomes the object of that particular thing, and that's a crazy behavior. And in order to demonstrate that behavior, let me just call a button there, and let's give it an ID of what should I call it? Let's just say me, and let's just call this as oops. And this is a simple function. I hope it gets, here we go, our oops function there, and we have to first catch this guy. So instead of just calling this crazy dude here, let's just move there, and let's just catch that first of all. So let me just create a variable, oops, not the button, but button, and we're going to catch that by document.getElementById. Okay, there we go, and I can grab the element by me ID there quickly. Okay, let me just resize that so that you can see. There we go. We have caught that in the button, and now we can actually call the button. So we are going to have button dot add. Does it suggest? No, hitting the tab doesn't work here. Okay, add event listener. Okay, there we go. It takes two parameters, as you might already being aware of that. One is the click, and the second one is actually what the function you want to run. So this is going to be the simple crazy guy. There we go, a simple function there. Now the problem of this thing is we are just printing the console.list. So let's just clear that, and in the output, if I just run the JS there and click on the oops, and this time you will notice something different. Oops, there's a long thing. And you can see the object is now HTML button element. So whoever is going to call this function, and basically we are just printing that this element here, this doesn't refer to the context. The context really changes quite a lot, and that's not something that programmer from other languages who actually code in other languages expect this behavior to be happening. It shouldn't be happening, and that's what is being fixed in, and notice I'm just using the JavaScript, not the ECMAScript 6 here, just to demonstrate the things. Okay, now if we have to make this crazy function not so crazy, then let's just define using the newer styles or newer things here. Let me just clear this for a second. Hey, don't run this. I'll just uncheck this auto run. And let's just call this, because this is a sane function and this is how we define it, and this is our arrow function, And now this arrow function is going to simply have a simple, you can say a console.log, and I can use even the shorter methods to do so. So I'll be just saying console.log, and this time we're going to say just this. Okay. Now this sounds good, and this is gonna say, hey, you know what? You are not following the ES6 syntax, and in order to do so, we just need to write one line again. I've showed you this line previously as well. This is just a comment. So what you have to say is JS hint space ES next colon true. So this is a Boolean that you need to set out, and the things are gone here. And now instead of calling the crazy function or the crazy guy there, we need to call the sane guy. And the sane guy is again going to represent the window object, and that's our motto here. So run with JS, and now let's click on the oops. Let me go it there. And let's go on to the very top. And there we go. Voila, we have done this. We haven't done actually anything. But in the latest ES6 version, if you define your function with the arrow function, that means you are using ES6, and this time this keyword is changed. So the reference or the context of this always remains the same, whatever you want it to be. It doesn't behave quirky. One of the behaviors that always have driven me crazy again, this is gone now. And again, I would recommend you to read this because I have explained you everything, and now just a quick read will clear up more things. And this guy has done pretty good job. He has explained why this, and we used to do like a bind workaround, or that equals this. This is no more required, and I'm glad to say that this used to be such a pain. But again, things are really good, and I'm happy with that. So this is again a function that you need to be worried about, and you should take a look quite closely on this. And of course, make sure you read other documentation as well. But the whole story is this only.